Spokane, Washington, 4:18 p.m. The sky is the color of a bruised plum, heavy with a rain that hasn't decided whether to fall or just hang in the air like a cold threat. And down by the riverfront park, near the old pavilion, the shadows stretch long and thin. It's the kind of gloom that swallows sound, and making the city feel empty even when it's watching. Enter Elias Thorne, and known to the streets and the brothers of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club as Rook. He's 40, 8 years old, 6'4" of corded muscle and road-worn leather, and his head is shaved, shining under the streetlights, offset by a thick, graying goatee that frames a jaw set like granite. A jagged white scar cuts through his left eyebrow, and a souvenir from a prison riot 2 decades ago. His eyes are slate gray, usually scanning for threats, but today, they are soft. He's waiting for his daughter, and Maya is 12. Innocent. Too innocent for a world that breeds wolves. She's walking home from band practice, clutching a clarinet case, and cutting through the park to meet her dad. But she isn't alone. 3 shadows detach themselves from the concrete pillars of the overpass. Older teenagers. 17, and maybe 18, wearing expensive sneakers but carrying cheap intentions. They circle her. Not random. Predatory nice case. One sneers. He's tall, lanky, and with a neck tattoo of a scorpion. This is Kyler. What else you got in those pockets? Maya freezes. Her knuckles turn white on the handle of her case. And, my dad is meeting me here. She stammers, her voice trembling like a leaf in the wind. Dad ain't here, sweetheart. Kyler laughs, reaching out to grab her hood. And, that's when the blur hits him. It's not Rook. Not yet. It's a boy. Maybe 14, but he looks 10 due to malnutrition. And, he's wearing an oversized army-splus coat that smells of damp wool and old smoke. This is Leo. He lives under the bridge. He's seen Maya pass by every Tuesday. And Leo doesn't scream. He doesn't pose. He launches himself at Kyler like a feral cat, bared fists flying. Run! Leo screams at Maya, his voice cracking. Run now! And Kyler stumbles back, shocked, blood trickling from a split lip. But the shock lasts a second. The other 2 bullies swarm. Maya runs. She runs until her lungs burn, and scrambling up the embankment to the parking lot, where the familiar rumble of a Harley panhead is just pulling in. If this moment of pure bravery grabbed your heart, and drop a comment saying, "Protect the innocent. We need to know you're with us." Rook kills the engine as Maya slams into his chest, sobbing so hard she can't breathe. And, Daddy, the boy, he saved me, they're killing him. Rook doesn't ask questions. The slate-gray eyes turn black. He doesn't run, and he moves with the terrifying inevitability of a landslide. He unclips a heavy clasp on his leather vest, freeing his movement. Down under the bridge, it's quiet again, and too quiet. Rook rounds the corner. The bullies are gone. Lying in the mud, curled into a fetal ball, is Leo. The oversized coat is torn, and his face is a mask of red and purple. One eye is swollen shut. His breathing is shallow, a wet, rattling sound that makes Rook's stomach turn. Rook drops to his knees, and disregarding the mud staining his jeans, he touches the boy's neck. A pulse, threadbare, but there. You held the line, kid, Rook whispers, and his voice thick with a rage he hasn't felt in years. You held the line. He scoops the boy up. Leo weighs nothing. Like a bird made of hollow bones, and as Rook carries him to the bike, a piece of paper falls from Leo's pocket. It's a laminated photo, mud-streaked. A smiling woman holding a baby. On the back, an inscrawled crayon, "Mom waiting in heaven." Rook's jaw clenches so hard a vein throbs in his temple. This kid had nothing, absolutely nothing, and he gave everything to save a stranger. The sirens are distant, useless. Rook knows the law won't care about a homeless kid and some rich kid bullies, and this requires a different kind of justice. Rook pulls his phone. He hits a single button. Brotherhood. Assemble. Railyard Clubhouse. Now, 20 minutes later, and the roar begins. It starts as a low hum in the distance, then grows in a thunder that shakes the window panes of downtown Spokane. They arrive, Ast Anvils the muscle, and 6'7", a former powerlifter with arms the size of tree trunks, Socket the tech genius, slight build but eyes that miss nothing behind wire-rimmed glasses, and Das Shifter the strategist, cool, calm, calculating, Das the combat medic, carrying a trauma bag before his kickstand is even down. And before we continue this mission of justice, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and comment what state you're watching from, and let's see where the Brotherhood is strongest today. Now, let's get back to the story. Inside the clubhouse, and the air is thick with the smell of stale coffee and impending violence. Doc is working on Leo on the pool table, which has been covered with a sterile sheet, and the boy is unconscious, hooked up to an IV, 3 broken ribs, fractured orbital concussion. Doc reports wiping blood from his hands. He'll live, but he took a beating meant for a grown man. Rook stands by the boy's head, his hand resting gently on the kid's shoulder. And Maya said the leader had a scorpion tattoo on his neck. Name was Kyler and is already typing furiously on a laptop set up in the corner. Kyler Vance, and rich kid. Daddy is a local developer? Socket pauses, his face going pale. Wait, digging deeper. It's not just bullying. Kyler's been flagged on dark web forums, and he's a spotter. The room goes silent. Spotter for who? Shifter asks, his voice low. Victor Kress. Street name, the Vulture. Socket turns the screen around, and Kress. A name that tastes like bile. He runs a sanitation crew, a front for trafficking. He takes the kids no one looks for. The runaways. The homeless. And Kyler wasn't just mugging Maya. Rook realizes, his voice sounding like gravel grinding together. He was shopping. If Leo hadn't stepped in, Maya wouldn't just be hurt, and she'd be gone. If the thought of predators hunting children makes your blood boil, hit that like button right now. Let's show them they can't hide. And we know where Kress operates. Anvil rumbles, cracking his knuckles. The sound is like gunshots in the small room. Old textile warehouse in the industrial district. And Sector 4, Rook looks at Leo's battered face, then at Maya, who is sitting in the corner, traumatized but safe because of this boy. And this isn't a beatdown anymore, Rook says. This is a rescue. If Kyler is spotting, Kress has inventory. There are other kids. A heavy silence falls, and this is the crossroads. We go in there. Shifter warns, playing the devil's advocate, we bring down heat, federal heat. Kress has connections, and maybe we hand this to the feds. Rook looks at Shifter. Feds take weeks. Paperwork takes days. Those kids have hours. He points to the patch on his chest, and the death head. We claim to live by a code. Honor, loyalty, protection. If we let a monster eat children in our backyard because we're scared of a little heat, and we burn these vests right now? Shifter nods slowly. A grim smile touches his lips. I'll warm up the van. But Rook isn't stupid. He pulls his phone again, and Detective Jenkins. Detective Sarah Jenkins answers on the second ring. She's the head of the Special Victims Unit, a woman who smokes too much and sleeps too little, and she and Rook have a complicated dance. Mutual respect born from seeing the worst of humanity. Rook. I'm off duty. I have a lead on the missing street kids, Sarah, and the Vulture. Don't do it, Elias. Don't you dare go vigilante on me. I'm giving you a location. You can come clean up the mess, but I'm not waiting for a warrant to open the door. Elias! Sector 4, Texel Warehouse. Bring an ambulance or a hearse. Your choice. He hangs up. The sun has set, and the rain has turned into a deluge. The convoy moves out. It's not a parade. It's a hunting party. Rook rides point. The water streams off his black leather and soaking into his jeans, but he feels no cold. Only fire. They weave through the streets of Spokane, passing the glowing windows of happy families and heading toward the darkness of the industrial district. The warehouse looms ahead, a rotting carcass of brick and iron. No lights. Just shadows. And they kill the engines 2 blocks away. Silent approach. Anvil carries a crowbar the size of a human leg. Socket kills the perimeter cameras with a jammer, and they move like ghosts. Heavy, leather-clad ghosts, Rook signals. Stack up by the side entrance. Inside, muffled sounds. A cry, a shout, and Rook's heart hammers against his ribs. Not fear, anticipation. If your adrenaline is pumping and you want to see these guys get what they deserve, and comment justice served. Anvil swings the crowbar. The steel door screams and buckles. One more hit and it flies inward. The angels pour in, and the warehouse is a nightmare. Cages. Dog crates, but large enough for humans. There are 5 men inside, armed. Security contractors for Kress. And there's Kress, and standing over a terrified girl in a crate. Kyler is there too, looking smug until he sees the Reaper. Hell's Angels. Kress screams, reaching for a shotgun on the table, and Rook is faster. He throws a heavy wrench he pulled from his belt. It spins through the air and connects with Kress's shoulder with a sickening crunch, and the shotgun clatters away. The room explodes into chaos. Anvil tackles 2 guards at once, a freight train of momentum. Shifter uses a pool cue from a break table, and moving with martial precision. Rook ignores the guards. He walks through the melee, eyes locked on Kyler. Kyler backs up, tripping over his own feet. I didn't mean to. You hurt my daughter, Rook says, his voice a low rumble. You broke a boy who has more heart in his pinky than you have in your whole bloodline. And Kyler pulls a knife. A mistake. Rook catches the wrist, twists a snap. Kyler screams. Rook shoves him into a pile of trash bags. Stay. Then, the guards are down and zip tied. Groaning, Rook turns to the cages. He sees the eyes. 7 kitties, terrified, starving. He pulls a bolt cutter from his vest, and a snap. The first lock falls. You're safe, Rook says, his voice shifting from demon to father. Nobody hurts you again. The girl in the cage looks at the big biker, and at the skull on his chest, and then at his eyes. She sees the tears mixing with the rain on his face. She crawls out and hugs his leg, and blue lights flash through the high windows. Detective Jenkins bursts in, weapon drawn, backed by a SWAT team. She sees the carnage, the groaning mercenaries, and the zip-tied Kyler, and the angels standing in a protective circle around the children, handing out water bottles and jackets. Jenkins lowers her gun, and she walks over to Kress, who is whimpering on the floor. Victor Kress, she says, you have the right to remain silent. She looks at Rook, a silent nod. And get out of here, Elias, she whispers, before I have to do paperwork on why 7 bikers slipped on a banana peel. The legal fallout was immense, and with Kyler singing like a canary to cut a deal, the entire network unraveled. Judges, corrupt social workers, the whole rot was exposed. But the story didn't end in the courtroom. The club convened a week later. The church meeting. Rook stood at the head of the table. We protected my own, and we saved 7 others. But there are thousands like Leo, Rook said. We got the bikes. We got the rep. We got the muscle. And why aren't we the shield for the ones who don't have walls? The vote was unanimous. The Iron Guardians initiative was born. Months passed, and the leaves in Spokane turned to gold and then fell, leaving the trees bare again. Rook's house. A warm fire crackles. Maya is doing homework at the kitchen table. And there, sitting opposite her, is Leo. He looks different. The swelling is gone. He's gained 20 pounds. His hair is cut. He's wearing a flannel shirt that fits. And he's struggling with a math problem. It's X over Y, dummy, Maya teases, poking him with a pencil. Shut up, band geek. Leo grins back. The fear is gone from his eyes. And if seeing Leo safe and loved is hitting you right in the heart, smash that like and comment. Family forever. Rook watches them from the doorway and leaning against the frame. He remembers the boy in the mud. The boy who stood against 3 attackers to save a girl he didn't know. And Rook walks over and places a hand on Leo's shoulder. Leo flinches an old reflex, then relaxes, leaning into the touch. How's it going, son? Rook asks. Leo looks up, and the word hangs in the air, son. Leo's eyes water. He swallows hard. Good. Pops, it's going good. That night, Rook steps out onto the porch. The air is crisp, and he realizes something profound. He thought he saved Leo. But Leo saved him. Before Leo, Rook was just riding out his days, waiting for the end. Now he has a purpose, and he has a mission. The club isn't just a brotherhood of rebels anymore. It's a fortress. In the last 6 months, and the local chapter has intervened in 12 domestic violence cases, stopped 3 attempted kidnappings, and funded a youth shelter downtown. And they trade terror for protection. The scariest men in town became the safest place to run. A montage of change, and we see Anvil teaching kids how to box at the community center, channeling aggression into discipline. We see Socket setting up computer labs for at-risk youth, and we see the Vulture Kress walking into a federal prison yard, realizing that the Hell's Angels have chapters inside too. His eyes widen in terror as the gate closes, and we see Leo, standing tall, a prospect patch on his vest one day, maybe, but for now just a kid with a future. The phone rings. It's late, 20:00 a.m., Rook answers, and Rook. It's Jenkins. Her voice is tight. We got a situation. 3 foster kids missing in Idaho. Police are dragging their feet. Jurisdiction issues. And Rook looks at the photo of his expanded family on the mantle. Send me the coordinates, Sarah. He hangs up. He grabs his helmet, and the engine roars to life in the driveway. A sound of thunder. A sound of hope. If this story moved you, hit subscribe, smash like, and share this so more people understand that sometimes help comes on 2 wheels. Drop a comment telling me which part hit you hardest. Was it Leo's sacrifice, or the angel's justice? The taillight fades into the darkness. They say you can't outrun your demons. Maybe that's true. But if you ride fast enough and fight hard enough, you can sure as hell scare them away from the people you love. Redemption isn't about erasing the past, and it's about using the darkness you know to light the way for someone else. The engine fades, silence, peace.